Once upon a time, in the flourishing kingdom of Arvion, there lived a humble and wise king named Alder. Known for his compassion and integrity, King Alder was loved by his people. His kingdom thrived with prosperity, fairness, and peace. Alder believed that true leadership was about serving the people, not flaunting power. Unlike many rulers, Alder avoided extravagance. His palace was modest, his robes were simple, and his sword was made of plain yet strong steel. In the neighboring kingdom of Velmoria ruled King Zarion, a man obsessed with wealth and vanity. Velmoria was a land of extremes. While Zarion surrounded himself with opulence, his people suffered under crushing taxes that funded his lavish lifestyle. Zarion's golden carriages, diamond-encrusted armor, and jewel-studded sword were admired by neighboring kings, but they were a heavy burden on his struggling citizens. He had taken almost the entire kingdom under his care, and things seemed to be the same. Despite the growing discontent among his people, Zarion found comfort in the admiration his displays of wealth brought him. One day, King Zarion decided to visit Arvion, curious about its reputation for prosperity. Upon arrival, he was shocked to see Alder's modest palace in plain attire. The streets of Arvion, however, told a different story. Merchants thrived in bustling markets, farmers carried smiles as they sold their produce, and children played joyfully without a care in the world. Alder, unable to comprehend how such simplicity could coexist with such happiness, sneered at Alder. "Where do you not show your power, Alder?" Zarion asked arrogantly. "Look at me. My golden sword and shimmering armor make every ruler bow before me, yet here you stand, dressed like an ordinary man. How do your people respect you without fear or displays of grandeur?" Alder replied with a calm smile. "Respect earned through fear is fleeting, but respect born from love and trust lasts forever. A king's power is not in what he shows, but in what he does for his people." Zarion laughed dismissively. "A king without riches is a shadow. Come to Velmoria and I will show you what true power looks like." Alder, intrigued by Zarion's confidence, accepted the invitation. When Alder arrived in Velmoria, he was greeted by an awe-inspiring sight. Zarion's golden palace gleamed under the sun. His courtiers wore robes of silk, and the streets leading to the palace were lined with sculptures and fountains. However, Alder noticed something unsettling. Behind the grandeur, the common people looked weary and downtrodden. Merchants barely sold anything. Beggars lined the roads, and farmers carried empty carts. Despite the wealth on display, there was no joy in their eyes. During the grand feast that evening, Zarion continued boasting about his wealth and power, showing off his diamond-encrusted sword. "This sword," Zarion declared, "is a symbol of my greatness. No other king possesses such a treasure." Alder, observing quietly, simply replied, "A sword's true value is in its strength, not its shine. Time reveals the worth of all things." Alder dismissed Alder's words, confident in his superiority. Suddenly, a messenger burst into the banquet hall, panic etched on his face. "My king," he cried, "enemies have invaded our borders. They march toward the palace." Zarion leapt to his feet, ordering his guards to prepare for battle. Clad in his heavy golden armor and wielding his dazzling sword, he rode out with his army. However, Zarion's soldiers were poorly trained and disheartened, having been neglected in favor of the king's obsession with luxury. When the enemy forces attacked, Zarion's army quickly faltered. Zarion swung his heavy golden sword, but its weight made him slow and clumsy. With the pause, to his horror, the sword snapped in half during a fierce clash. It was too fragile for real battle. Alder, who had accompanied Zarion to offer his support, witnessed the chaos. Seeing Zarion's army on the brink of defeat, Alder stepped forward with his own loyal and disciplined troops. Wielding his plain steel sword, Alder led his men with precision and strategy. His soldiers, trained and motivated by a leader they admired, turned the tide of the battle and drove the invaders away. After the victory, Zarion knelt before Alder, humbled and ashamed. "You were right, Alder. My golden sword, my wealth, my displays of power, they were all hollow. When the moment of truth arrived, I had nothing to rely on but illusions. I have failed my people." Alder helped Zarion to his feet and said, The desire to show off blinds us to the truth. True power does not lie in appearances, but in preparation, wisdom, and the love of one's people. A king who focuses on impressing others often finds himself unprepared when challenges arise. Strength is proven through action, not display. Humbled by Aldar's wisdom, Zarion vowed to change. He returned to his kingdom with a new purpose, to rebuild not his image, but his people's trust. With Aldar's guidance, he invested in training his army, reducing taxes, and improving the lives of his citizens. Over time, Velmoria transformed from a land of vanity to a kingdom of strength and unity.